Look at them beans. Oh, I'm sorry, hon. I'm sorry. I'm manhandling you. Can you just there? Just be nice for like a minute. Okay. Do you want to go? You comfortable now? You feel safe? You can go. I love you. I think I'm gonna get something to sit on. If you are returning because of the last video, welcome back. So this is a continuation of my UFO, UAP, drone sightings, whatever you want to call it. In the first part, if you didn't watch it, I talked about the first 4 nights of sightings that I had, and these were all in the Glastonbury area of Connecticut. So one of the things that I noticed, especially in my journal, is I'm a person who has had lifelong depression, and I can't really treat it with medication because I have a lot of adverse side effects to medication. So I have to do a lot just to function. I don't want to talk too much about like what I suspect is the cause of my depression, but I do think that I'm neurodivergent. I even have a hard time making eye contact with the camera. So, but that's probably part of it. And the other part is I've had a lot of traumas in my life. And while I've been tough, you know, and sucked it up and been able to function, you know, you have a lot of those dark nights of the soul where you just relive stuff, or, you know, sometimes just driving in my car, I just start crying, thinking about the things that I experience, and just, you know, trying to make sense of it, trying to understand it, right? So, you know, I think a lot of people have trauma, and so they can relate, you know, that it's like, it's something that kind of stays with you, even if you appear on the outside to be, you know, good and happy. But that's what we do, right? We, especially women, we got to pretend that everything's okay for everybody else to make them feel comfortable. And I want to make note that from November, December, January, about once a month, around the same time of the month, this is when I'm seeing these things. So we're moving forward, and on 2/18, this is a Tuesday, this is broad daylight, and this is as I'm leaving to go to work. I saw something. So I'm just gonna kind of read what I wrote because I don't want to miss anything. So it was an aircraft moving very slow above the brick building next to my apartment. It was probably about 100 feet in the air, about twice the height of the building. And it was about the size of a small plane. And we have small planes that fly over our area all the time. And my brain was looking at it and trying to tell me that's a plane, but it wasn't. So it was hovering, and it was going, I guess, kind of south, and very slow, just real slow. So I'm telling myself, oh, it's a drone. It's a drone. It's a drone. It's a drone. I kept saying that to myself because, again, I'm looking into this New Jersey thing and all these lights, and I'm like, oh, they're drones. I'm just trying to dismiss it, trying to make sense of it. So I see this as I'm walking out to my car, and I'm just watching it as I'm walking to my car. It's making zero noise. If it were a small plane, I would have heard it. It's making zero noise. So I'm going, maybe it's a drone, but then I'm like, a drone that size would make noise, and it's not that far away. And what it looked like was, it looked like a small plane, but with one wing. It was like kind of blue, or maybe like a buffed metal not very shiny, and it looked weird but also normal at the same time. Like it almost looked human made, but not right. And to me, it just kind of looked like a small plane with a wing missing, flying sideways. And I get to my car and I'm just standing there staring at it and just kind of talking to myself like, what is this thing? Is this it's a drone? Is it a drone? But I don't hear anything. So I'm kind of going, I don't know what this is, but I should get in my car. So I literally, this is how long I looked away. I went like this and this, just enough to reach back and grab my door handle. So I looked and looked back. It was gone, completely gone. So then I'm like, where is it? So I start to walk towards, the front of that building, and I'm like, no, I'll get in my car. So I get in my car, I pull out, I'm looking all over the sky. Now, across the street from where I live, there's no houses. It's, kind of a relatively open area. There's some trees, and it's in the center of town. Because the first thing that I thought was like, maybe this thing fell out of the sky. But if it had fallen out of the sky, it would have fallen into the center of my town. So first of all, I would have seen it. And even if I hadn't seen it, if it had fallen behind a building, it was big enough that it would have been the talk of the town. Like people would have, like it would have been in the newspaper. So as I'm driving, I'm looking all over thinking, well, maybe it shot off one way or the other, but it was gone, completely gone. I wrote down it didn't look quite right. It had elements of looking normal, but looked off. Glitchy was the word I used. And then I wrote down that it was possibly like blue and white. And it looked like a small plane in distress because it was like doing weird stuff. And I drew a little picture of it. So maybe I can bring that. Can you see that? I don't know. Maybe I'll redraw the picture. I know that doesn't... I was a fine arts major, by the way. But that's like all I can really... Has anyone seen anything like that? I wrote down again, too, the last thing I wanted to add is that I feel like it perceived that it was being observed. So I think I mentioned in the video before that the things that I saw seemed to perceive that they were being observed. They seemed to respond to my thoughts and the things that I said out loud. Thursday, I had a crazy dream about UFOs. So I'm going to read my entry because I don't want to miss anything. So I wrote down, the UFO dream took place in a rental house in the woods with lots of windows. My son was with me. There were orbs outside all around the house, and then a big craft came down and landed in the parking area. And my son and I ran out to see it. So then I suddenly got scared and I brought him back inside with me, and then I woke up. And it was like the first time that I started to feel a little bit afraid. Not afraid like I was in danger, but afraid like I didn't understand it and I didn't want my son to have anything to do with it. So, but meanwhile, I'm reading my journal entries and I'm just talking about how good I feel. But one of the things that I made note of was I feel like a lot of old emotions have been coming to the surface. I've been visualizing giving them to the new moon so that they can be transformed into higher vibrations and mirrored back to the world as the moon fills up again. Okay. There was a big planetary alignment that I was aware of. One of the things that I noticed too was like I was experiencing some of my old traumas that I thought I was better, like that no longer bothered me. It was like almost like they came up for the last time. And there were a few times where I would just start like ugly crying, which is not something that does not happen for me. Like I have lifelong depression, but it was so crazy because it would come up in this intensity, and then I would feel like I was about to vomit, and then like retch, not actually vomit, but almost like something was coming out of my body, and then suddenly I stop crying and I'm feeling okay again, which is not what happens when I would, you know, get tearful in the past. If I would get tearful, I would be crying, you know, until I fell asleep, you know, or I would be holding it back. I'd have to make a concerted effort to hold back the tears. But this was something that I kind of kept experiencing, that I would think of something when I was alone, when I was driving to work, whatever it was, and it would stir up, and I would kind of like suddenly have this understanding and then just release it. And so as this continues happening, my mood has just been so much better overall. I don't know how else to explain it, and I hope it sticks. I don't know. But so then we're going into March. So we've seen something in February, right? Yes. Something very close, very intense, and close to my home. So I'm starting to feel like connected to it. So on the 3rd of March, and then I wrote down the time too, around 8:20, I was on my way across town to pick up my son. And I was halfway there, and I was on the road alone. And this is like a state road, but it's not a super busy state road, at least not that time of night. And suddenly the inside of my car kind of lights up as if there's like a semi tailgating me. So obviously I look in my rearview mirror and there's nothing there. And I look ahead and there's no cars coming. And it kind of looked like it was coming from above and behind me. And as soon as I realized that it wasn't the high beams of a truck, and that it wasn't my car, because I'm playing with my high beams, like, is it me? But my car was getting lit up from the inside, like as if somebody was tailgating me. And as soon as I realized it wasn't right, it stopped. And I wrote down, so much weird stuff keeps happening. And I really wish I could just observe these things more clearly when I see them. My mind keeps trying to make these things seem normal when I see them, and I try to explain it away. But I'm really curious and I'm not afraid. I just want to understand what I'm seeing. I'm not afraid. This is the last experience. So first off, before I saw this, I had a realization about the UFO dream. So I kind of thought maybe this was a message, and I wrote down, as much as I am not afraid of these things I keep seeing, I have been protective towards my son. And I realized that like a couple of days before this experience. So I will include the video, but there's nothing on it. But if you are some kind of video digital expert, maybe you can do something with the video to catch it, but I'm not even sure if I caught this on camera. So this is after I had picked up my son. This is on the 19th of March. So I saw an orb following an aircraft above my apartment. It was about 8:45 p.m. So I just picked up my son, and he saw it too. So I literally were getting out of the car and I look up, and it was as bright as the other stars. It was about the size of the other stars. It was pretty high up. And I only noticed it because it was moving. And it seemed to change direction. So it was kind of like going. And then a plane started going by and it changed direction to follow another aircraft. And I think that it was a plane. It seemed like the thing it was following was a plane. It didn't look unusual. So I saw that and I said, "You see that up there?" And he saw it too. So I reached into my back pocket. This was the first time I was like ready. And I pull out my phone. And as soon as I got my camera going, it just disappeared. It dimmed. And then it brightened up a little bit, but not enough for my camera to pick it up. So I think I will put this at the end of the video. I think whatever it was in the frame, but I can't see anything. But you can hear my conversation with my son. And then it dimmed a little bit, and then it just became no longer visible. So again, I felt like it perceived that it was being observed. And then the following month, I've been feeling intense emotional releases. So I think I'm going to actually read this because I think this is relevant. I've been feeling some intense emotional releases today. I cried today for about 5 minutes, and it felt as if I had vomited something that was making me sick. It was deep stuff, all the way to my childhood, all the way to my bones. I've had a lot of residual pain that I thought I had dealt with, but I think that I just buried it. Lately, I've been releasing it, and it actually feels really great. I used to ugly cry myself to sleep every night. I hated crying, but today it felt cleansing. I blew a lot of snot out of my nose. I said things out loud that I had never allowed myself to say. And I realized how I could let go of these useless beliefs that I have about myself that are holding me back. And, then I've been having so I haven't seen anything since. I've been having really, really intense dreams that I don't remember. And for a while, I was going to bed really early, sleeping hard, and waking up exhausted. So that has been interesting. But yes, I haven't seen anything. Part of why I did my trip to northern Maine was I felt really, really drawn to it. And I kept having premonitions that I might see something when I climbed Hedgehog Mountain, or maybe something over the lake. But I didn't see anything. But I wasn't disappointed. It was still a really, really nice trip. I've been experiencing a lot of synchronicities, but other than that, I haven't seen anything. And if you've had an experience like this, or you have something to share or add, or maybe you've been feeling changed lately, I'd like to know. I'd like to know that this makes sense, because all along I've suspected that this is not human, that this is something that is present, maybe has always been present, but maybe is making itself known. I don't feel afraid of it. I'm actually really excited, but I also just want to be closer. I want to understand it. But I feel compelled to share this because I think it's part of all of us, and we all need to start talking about this. Anyway, thanks. Thanks for watching, and yeah. It disappeared, didn't it?
Oh, no, it's slightly visible. Okay, now.
Oh, I think I see it.
Okay.